Trimble Business Center Heavy Construction Edition has some great tools to create a presentation or a realistic model of your site from simply a surface model. You can see here I have a surface model called my finished design, and it encompasses my road and my pond and my parking and building, and it's just a triangulated surface. In addition to that, I've used my categories, and in my categories I have under design, I've got certain layers that contain potential boundaries, so the software knows which objects are boundaries and which aren't. And then the other piece I have is my material site improvement manager. In here you basically set up your materials. Like my pond, I can determine how I want it measured, but for the rendering and the texture, you come down here for your shading, and I've applied a JPEG to that texture. To get the textures is actually quite easy. You just go out to Google, do a search for surface textures or grass textures or water textures, and you select the images there, and you can see that you can get all kinds of images. You get brushed concrete, you can get polished concrete, you can get straw, whatever image you want. You can actually just right click on it, save that image as a JPEG, and then when you go into your improvement manager, you're basically just adding it as the texture. So here I came in and I added the water JPEG. For my landscaping, I've got some riprap, some seed, and some sod. So under riprap, I'm using that riprap JPEG, so it's going to use that as a pattern. And you can control the size of it as well. If you notice here, I'm using a 5x5, where my pond, I'm using a 50, so it gives me just a different look. Once you set those up, it's pretty much just a matter of applying the texture. So on the Surface tab, I've got the Surface Texture tool. And there's a couple other ways that you can do this. You can make it part of your, under data or takeoff, you can make it part of your site regions. So when you apply your site improvement areas, it'll use the same material and the same texture. But I'm going to do the surface option here, which is Surface Texture. Select a surface. We'll give it a name. Let's call it Pond. Put it on a layer called Site Materials. And then I'll just come down, I'll grab my material. So if I come in and I grab the pond, and I probably should call that water, and I'm just going to pick a spot within the pond, and then while we're here, let's go ahead and call it riprap, and we'll go ahead and put that in. This may be grass, this may be dirt, or some type of gravel or some other type of material, but we're going to put riprap. We got some leftover from the blasting of our rock wall there. So under landscaping up here, I've got riprap, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come in and put that here. Now when I'm done with that, because I don't have my surface set to rebuild automatic, I'm just going to right click on it and tell it to rebuild the surface. When it rebuilds the surface, it will apply the material. So now you'll see here that it shows up with water and riprap. So now I got my textures. It looks pretty good in 3D. You'll also notice in my 3D view I've got some objects such as an excavator here working on my pond. I've got trees, I've got people. If we come in here, I got some cars, some signs, light poles, the building. I've got some trash cans. I even got soda machines. I've got a bike rack. If I work my way around the back, you can see that I've got even a truck in the back. Now all those objects, and even the building, came from Sketchup. So if you go to Sketchup, you can go to the 3D warehouse and find all kinds of different objects. You open them up in SketchUp, and I export them out as an IFC file, and I drag and drop that IFC file into Business Center, and I place it where I want. Then once you have that, if you come in and select a surface, you can do a 3D drive view, and what this does, it creates another view, and I'm just going to float this view where I'm able to kind of go around my site. So I can actually use this to verify that my site looks good. I can use it to show, to present to others. So here I can just use my mouse and actually look around the site, or if I set a speed, I can come down here and put a speed, let's start at 10, and then click start. And then if I use my cursors, you can see I can drive around the site. So it's just kind of working its way around. If I use my left arrow, I can turn, and it's going to follow my site. It will let me adjust the height, so I can come in here and actually adjust the height of the view that I'm looking at. I can tell it different target heights, basically, of what I want to see. So here I'm just going, drive around. I can see my utilities that I have in there. In the back here as I just use my cursor. So I'm just navigating with my arrow keys on my keyboard. And you can see that I can see the truck in the back and the loading dock. And as I come around, just let it work its way around the back of the building here. I can speed up a little bit by hitting the up arrow. And we can work our way down through the parking here. You can see I got a high spot in my road there. I'm actually going up the side of the bank here. There's my excavator working on my pond, and my pond on my site. So again, I can fast forward by just speeding up a little bit. I can slow down. And then I can slow it down to a stop and turn the other direction. I can come in here and pan and look slowly around and just let it work its way out around the site. So again, a lot of different ways that you can view this. It's not going to make a photorealistic image, or a model, but it is a model. It's got texture and can be pretty handy when you're trying to show or demonstrate something to somebody on your site. So if you want to know more about Business Center Heavy Construction Edition, contact your local Site Tech dealer.